On September 4th, the Massachusetts Supreme Court heard a case that could change the way the Pledge of Allegiance is said in the classroom. And this is a really fascinating case, because if you think about the Pledge of Allegiance and how atheists have responded to it, what you tend to think about is atheists trying to get under God out of the Pledge of Allegiance. And that's what Michael Newdow did, and his case went up to the Supreme Court like a decade ago. And his basic reasoning was that it was sort of a religious indoctrination, that it was an establishment of religion through our public schools. And therefore, we needed to take under God out of the Pledge of Allegiance if people still wanted to say the pledge in public school. And the Supreme Court said, he didn't have standing to bring the case, so they didn't even rule on the merits of it. But that's been the typical way atheists have fought the Pledge of Allegiance. We've kind of attacked the under God phrase in there. And what makes the Massachusetts case really interesting is that in this case, the family that is suing over this, what they're fighting is saying that the Pledge of Allegiance is discriminatory against atheists, in the sense that it's a patriotic exercise, but atheists, by the nature of under God in the pledge, they're basically being told, well, you can't say it because it doesn't apply to you, even though it's voluntary and even though atheists can sit down during it. If you're a kid and you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance, but you're an atheist, so you either leave the classroom or you stay seated, people will think you are not patriotic. And that makes you appear to be the second-class citizen. And that's the gist of their argument, that it's discriminatory against them. And that's a very new approach. It's one we haven't seen in the court system. And that's probably why it got so high up. That's why the Massachusetts Supreme Court is taking a listen to it this week. And it'll be very interesting to see how they respond to that argument. If it doesn't work, we're kind of back to square one. But if it does work, oh my God, we just found a way that might eliminate either saying the pledge altogether in schools all across the country. It's possible. And it's interesting because in this case, they're not going after under God. They're saying the Pledge of Allegiance includes the phrase under God, and it's all or nothing. These atheists are the American Humanist Association, the Appignani Humanists, the legal center there. They are not trying to get under God out of the pledge. They're saying if you want to keep the pledge, it is discriminatory. So you got to get rid of it altogether. And that's a very interesting way to go about it. We'll see how this plays out in the court. My name is Hemant Mehta. I write at friendlyatheist.com. Please leave your messages and questions below in the comments.